I just wonder if you're like many people, is reinventing your life something nagging you in the back of your mind? Perhaps, feeling like starting over in life and just building from scratch. If so, you're not alone in this boat. And there are so many individuals everywhere who wish and ask, things like, how can I change my life? Hello, everyone. My name is James Nussbaumer, and I am the author of the Master of Everything book series. And it starts with these two books. The first one is called The Master of Everything. It's a story of mankind in the world of illusion we call life, and its sequel is called Mastering Your Own Spiritual Freedom. If you don't have a copy by now, I hope that you'll get one. I've been told that both are a real page turner, and they just begin an ever developing, very exciting series, and published by Ozark Mountain Publishing Company. But let me get back to saying, many begin change with regard to their personal relationships, their appearance, character, or their career. In a nutshell, reinventing your life through the quiet power of mind is within us all, and it requires that you must have patience, something that even myself at times is not very good at. In your dream of separation from God, meaning the thoughts that we have been taught that we were taught that we are separate from God, our Creator. So in your dream of separation from God, you see everything as being outward. With this vision, this outward type vision, if your thoughts were 100% wholly of yourself, now I mean holy as one, W-H-O-L-L-Y, whole, if your thoughts were 100% whole, then the thought system you choose, the thought system that you chose to make up would be forever dark. What I mean is the Holy Spirit in you, which I talk quite a bit about in both my books, which really is your own inner guide within yourself, your inner guide, a guidance system. You can call the Holy Spirit your quiet power of mind, who is the real you, and he makes light available for you always. But in the darkness, any thoughts that you do share with God are transmuted beyond your ego-based belief. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, let me state by saying A Course in Miracles helps us see that, if you learn to inwardly extend these thoughts that you do share with God in quiet times, without fear, you will begin to see the power in your thoughts. You will find answer to your bothersome question, how can I change my life? So far, it has been the ego-based projections of the world and not the truth, not your quiet power of mind that you have chosen to defend and think that you love. And that's the way with much of the world. We're so wrapped up in the thought of separation rather than wholeness. And that thought of separation is the ego-based mind. In my first book here, The Master of Everything, readers really come to see by example, that images are projected and real thoughts don't project, but they extend themselves. No one can take these thoughts away from you. However, you can give them up. Your source, with a capital S, your source for undoing these projections that lead to your errors is within you. Yes, you have the power to undo these thoughts that make you commit the errors and thoughts, and is the one who knows everything about you, and that's the Holy Spirit I'm talking about, who is really your true self. If the Holy Spirit's thought system is not leading you, then the direction your life is going will be nowhere and will find nothing. You will continue wondering and wondering, how can I change my life? A Course in Miracles states, and this is very profound and very simple too, A Course in Miracles states, God has given you a place in his mind that is yours forever. Isn't that kind of safe and secure and nice? If you deny something that he well knows to be true, then he must teach you not to deny it. And that's in the Holy Spirit's undoing is always over time. Yes, the Holy Spirit in you uses time to undo the falsehood in you, and is indirect as you involve yourself in the task of trying to share with God that, which cannot be shared, but merely just needs correction. Perhaps it's reinventing your life is what I mean. In book 2 of the series, I deeply explore, and here, uh, uh, Mastering Your Own Spiritual Freedom, we deeply explore that this is where you could possibly, for a temporary period of time, enter the void, or what has been called the dark night of the soul, as St. John of the Cross had named it. And by the way, I explain in this book here a little bit about St. John of the Cross, and I did some research, and upon further reading up on St. John of the Cross, I discovered that he seemed to be one of those people that thought against the norm back in those days. He was one of whom others said that his ideas were far-fetched and a bit wild. But that was quite a few centuries back, and I didn't learn what back in those days constituted or was considered to be wild. Of course, what we're doing today and our thoughts today back then, of course, would seem wild. But you must understand how twisted and fragmented and complex mankind's thought system is. Think about the multiple generations of illusion, lies, untruths, and false love passed down to us. The Holy Spirit must begin his teaching by showing you about the inner power, the quiet inner power of your mind, what you can never learn on your own, and especially from the world when it comes to reinventing your life. The Holy Spirit's message sometimes might come directly at you, where he must introduce truth to insanity, in such cases as it did with my incarceration. And for those of you that know me, know that I was incarcerated in a state prison for 8 years for a foolish securities violation as a financial advisor, where I had lost that career. But my point is that in such cases, like myself, the Holy Spirit's direct message can force you into complete surrender, like it did for me. He may look at your foundation and dismiss it, but you yourself cannot undo what you made. You need his help, which is the truth in you, is what his help is. Whether his correction is direct or indirect, the Holy Spirit's undoing will start a rebuilding, though it may seem for quite a while as though you are stuck and going nowhere and giving up on patience. For me, it felt like he had taken a wrecking ball to my life, but then said to me, quietly and gently, I felt an urging, or a voice, so to speak, saying, it's okay, let it rest, and now I will help you to rebuild, to begin reinventing your life, and it will be something fascinating. And guess what? That's where I'm at today, speaking with you. The time will certainly come when you suddenly see yourself traveling with simple truths, and will notice a burst of real positive progression, as I am doing right now. This is what has given me the energy to write these books and get this series off the ground. It all began while I was in prison, and it gave me that energy to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. All it takes is one last drop, and I really love this. I read about the ancient Chinese Book of Changes, or what's called the I Ching, for those that are up on these kind of things. But this ancient Chinese book speaks of such a life experience like mine or yours that you may be going through, that you're trying to get change. It speaks of such life experience being like water filling up behind the wall of a dam. From the other side of the dam, it can look absolutely like nothing is going on, like nothing is happening. Then all it takes is that one last drop of water to cause all that pooling water to rise over the top and become a rushing river, effortlessly flowing into the next stage of its journey. That can be you. And here's to the quiet power of your mind. Hey, by the way, the subject that I've just talked about here is at my blog, and I've got the link in the description box down below in the description box, which will take you directly to a blog article on this particular topic. And I'd love to have you join my newsletter list called Everyday Miracles. And while you're at that blog site, you'll be able to see how to subscribe to that newsletter. I wish the best for you, and I hope you're thinking a lot about your own natural joy. And just because of your willingness and readiness to watch this video means that you're seeking change, and it will happen for you. You will change your life for the better. I wish the best to you once again, and God bless you. Thanks for putting up with me for these few short minutes.